So after the Florida Gators were able to take Austin Armstrong away from Alabama, many around the Crimson Tide fan base were wondering what Nick Saban would do next. Having just assembled this coaching staff, where would he turn to fill the gap? Well, we did not have to wait long to get that answer, as yesterday news reports came out that Nick Saban and Alabama have found their linebacker coach, something we've got to break down. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you excited that Nick Saban and Alabama are bringing on Bala as linebacker coach? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions are massive to content creators such as myself, and we're on a push to 20,000 subscribers. I'd love to have you a part of this unbelievable community. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And this is a name that's largely going to be unknown to a lot of college football fans. Bala is a young guy, but he has gotten some good experience. If we look at all of his stops at 2022, he was with Liberty as a defensive analyst, and they were set to promote him from analyst to linebacker coach for the 2023 season. During the course of 2020 and 2021, he was defensive coordinator at Southern Utah. In 2018 and 2019, cornerback coach at Southern Utah. From 2017 to 2018, he was at Ottawa University in Arizona. From 15 to 16, he was at Palomar College. In 2014, he interned with the Raiders, and in 2009 to 2010, he was with Snow College. So though he's a young guy, he's gotten some really positive experience, and one thing I really like when I'm going through Bala's experience is that he has experience both with linebackers and safeties. I think that's a compelling factor, someone that has versatility to be able to coach multiple positions on your defense, but specifically with linebackers. Whenever we look at his time with Southern Utah when he was defensive coordinator, during one of those stints, he was defensive coordinator slash safeties coach. During the other, defensive coordinator linebackers coach. Really painting the picture I'm trying to paint here, that this is a guy that has some versatility, and I do think that's a compelling factor, and I talk about this all the time. That's not relegated to Bala. I talk about it with recruits. I talk about it with coaches. Versatility is the name of the game. It allows you to maximize everything around you, and I always think that's an interesting factor. Now, one of the things we need to talk about when it comes to Bala is that when he was at Liberty this past season, that defense did a lot of good things. They were one of the top defenses in sacks. They were one of the top defenses in tackles for loss per game. If I'm not mistaken, they were the #1 defense in tackles per loss per game. They were able to generate a lot of interceptions, and once again, I think they were top 5 in sacks per game. That defense was able to put together a strong outing, and the question is, how much of that was attributed to Bala? And it's next to impossible to answer that question because he was a defensive analyst, but there were areas where that Liberty defense did take a step forward from 2021 to 2022, specifically at the turnovers. They generated double the turnovers they previously had, and Bala, though being an analyst, was working more with the safeties. They had a safety get a lot of interceptions, and I also think it's telling that Liberty tried to retain him on their staff. They wanted to keep him a part of this defensive staff, so they liked what they had in Bala, but now Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide get him. So what is this going to mean for Alabama? Well, this is going to be something I'm really interested in. I think having a young coach can always be a positive because they can relate to recruits easier, or at least in theory, they can relate to recruits easier. And the second thing I find compelling about this hire is that he just came from Liberty, meaning he worked with Hugh Freeze, and Hugh Freeze just makes his re-entrance to the SEC as head coach at Auburn. So Nick Saban looks at this, and we know what kind of offense Hugh Freeze can field. They are potent offenses. Nick Saban is able to get someone that has an even deeper familiarity of that offense because he just spent time on that staff with Hugh Freeze. So that's an interesting little nugget I thought I'd throw in there. But this is something I'm excited to see how it pans out. We've talked about this before. That inside linebacker position was the #1 position battle for the defense, in my opinion, for Alabama. And now Bala is getting to inherit coaching that position battle, something that Alabama fans everywhere are very excited in seeing how it progresses. So I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about this, because this is an interesting hire. That's it. See ya.